raging elephants! Should I lay on the lawn and let him run over me with lawnmowers? As I feel the injection flow through the veins, beginning to swell.
Spawn more overlords.
Nightmares are the best part of my day! We'll become the eighth wonder of the world!
This is Podcast.
Wednesday night, April the 13th, episode 7, the Slam Pigs Podcast. Go right ahead. Jump on in. Michael's here with me once again. Thank you so much once again for coming back. How's it going?
Had a pretty good week, real good week. Excited for Slam Pigs 7. Ready to go. Moved into a new apartment this week. Feeling pretty good, well rested.
Feels good.
I like it.
It's good stuff.
Feeling good. I'm excited about this week in general. All the stuff we have to talk about. We're going to start off with our Raw stuff this week. Then we're going to get into some rumors. A couple deaths this week.
Yeah, unfortunately, a couple deaths.
Our fan question this week. We also have our match of the week and our Wrestlemania of the week to go over.
Well, before we get down to the brass tacks, Frost was going to join us tonight for the first time live on the show, but he got some work stuff going on, and that's cool.
He's got to work and stuff. He's got a job.
Yeah, adulting.
More power to you, bud.
But yeah, next week he said he's definitely going to try to make it on. Can't wait for that. I think he wants to be on for pretty much the whole show. He's all about it. So
we're going to have to work something out. It's going to be tough, but we'll do our best.
Frost, we'll see you next week, buddy, hopefully. And thanks for your question this week. Only one question this week, but that's cool. We had a lot of news going, a lot of weird news this week to talk about, so that makes up for the lack of questions.
Yeah.
But let's get right into the Raw review.
This week's Raw review, we're going to start off with our main event this evening. The main event from Raw this past week was Babyface Bray.
They turned him, I guess.
I don't know.
Did they?
I think they're teasing it. Probably not going to happen. I just can't see him as a babyface.
Is he a tweener?
Yeah, I don't think he's ever going to be a good guy. But anyway, he teamed up with Roman Reigns, the guy.
Can we address that right off the bat?
Go ahead, please.
First time was alright.
Yeah.
Second time, it was on SmackDown. If it happened on SmackDown, it didn't really happen.
Yeah, it doesn't really count.
He did it this time again.
Is it coming off to you? It's kind of like a cocky asshole?
Well, that and it's just a bad line to keep saying it.
I think they're trying to make it more bad guy, like oh, I don't care if you boo me, even though I really do. But
with the debut on this show, it's going to be interesting though. We'll get to that, but kick it off with the main event, Michael.
We got our tag team main event: Bray and Roman versus the League of Nations. 2 out of the 3 League of Nations members, the 2 workhorse members. No offense to Rusev, but you had Alberto Del Rio and Sheamus going up against Bray and Roman. Pretty good match, I thought, for a tag match.
It was alright. It had a lot to follow on this show.
It was a nice little match. Bray and Roman go over clean. That's what they use the League of Nations for anymore these days, just to get their top stars over.
What do you use them for, other than that? There's so many new guys coming
I think you could use them for a lot more. Well, especially Del Rio.
It seems like nobody cares about Sheamus.
Did you hear how many C chants there were during
Not
this?
really. Not really Del Rio. It just seems like nobody gives 2 fucks about Sheamus.
No, Sheamus is stale.
Like
he's stale.
Does he need to go? Is it time?
I don't know if he needs to go.
Gimmick change?
But something has to happen with him.
Besides just, I have a mohawk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least he's not doing the stupid beard braids anymore.
Oh.
It looked terrible. But
what the fuck was that?
Del Rio, something needs to happen with him. The fans are behind him, even as a heel. I don't know if it was because Roman was in the match and he was beating up Roman, but still, every match, the fans are chanting C, and they like him some Alberto, and so do I. I
like Alberto.
I really wish Cena wouldn't have got injured when he did, because I feel like that was going to be a big push for Del Rio. Unfortunately, that kind of stalled him a little bit.
And now it's on Kalisto.
Yeah.
Somebody that's not even on our format tonight. Go figure.
Well, he's on there, but not really.
Not really.
Anyway, that was your main event this evening. Not a whole lot to talk about there.
Well, I'm interested in a tweener Bray Wyatt. I think it's definitely time to change up the Wyatt gimmick. It's definitely stale.
Well, I think they're just using him as more of a babyface because of who he's feuding with right now with the League of Nations, I guess.
Yeah.
The Wyatts pretty much just made them look like total shit this week. This is another like Wyatt push that they're getting.
Donald Trump could probably be a babyface against the League of Nations. So,
or Roman Reigns.
I go as far as say maybe Hitler. Well, I don't know about all that.
Oh, let's not. No, I don't want to offend anybody.
Right. Stepping on toes already.
Yeah.
5 minutes into the show.
But that was our main event, guys.
Well, let's move on to the meat and potatoes of the show.
Now, before that, we have a little interesting piece of news regarding Bray Wyatt.
Oh yeah.
He
right ahead.
was rumored he was injured on a house show this week. Some sort of leg injury.
Tonight, actually, I think that happened.
Breaking
news, guys.
They're not sure how long he's going to be out or what the severity of the injury is. Hopefully he's not out for an extended period of time.
This news is so hot off the press.
Hot off the press,
They don't
baby.
even know what fuck kind of injury it is.
This is live, baby, live.
Live, baby, live.
But
So,
Bray
that sucks.
injured tonight in his match. Hopefully he's not out for long.
The curse continues.
Yeah. Shout out to Bray, though. Hopefully you're all right. Hopefully you keep working hard.
It was a rough week for Bray. His grandfather died this week.
Yeah.
Blackjack Mulligan. We're gonna
Go
pay a little
over that
tribute
later. But getting back to Raw, our co-main event of the evening was it was sort of a number one contenders match, but not really.
Kind of.
It was AJ Styles going up against Sami Zayn 1-on-1. If Sami Zayn won, it was going to be a triple threat for the title. If AJ won, it was just going to be 1-on-1.
Yeah.
Great match.
Oh yeah.
Match of the night.
Exactly what you'd expect.
Yep, match of the night definitely. AJ and Sami giving you what you wanted to see.
AJ Styles is on fire right now.
Oh my god.
In the ring.
Oh yeah. I don't think he's ever looked better. And Sami Zayn, I mean, hopefully this guy could stay healthy.
Yeah.
He had a little bit of a scare in that match. Did you see the one spot in the match where he kind of landed on his head, but he kind of kept flipping and just went through?
Seems like almost every match he has a scare.
Yeah.
I hope he doesn't come across as the wrong people backstage, like the fragile type.
Yeah.
Don't push this guy.
Yeah.
He'll get hurt.
But this match was awesome. A lot of really good high spots.
Oh yeah.
It ended clean. AJ getting the victory.
If you haven't seen the match, you need to see the match.
It was a good match.
But it's exactly how you'd expect it to be.
Absolutely.
And then some.
Mm-hmm.
They went all out on this.
AJ gets the win clean.
I was happy to see Sami Zayn in a good spot, but it's way too soon to put him.
Yeah, I think
AJ Styles has the credibility. He's been on TV, just not WWE TV for years.
Yeah.
You know.
It's Sami Zayn. You can tell they're just trying to make him more and more credible for his fight with Owens.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's going to be a big feud there.
He needs to get that IC belt way before he goes for the world belt.
And I think those are going to be awesome matches if they're anything like they were on NXT with Owens and Sami Zayn.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully they give them enough time on this pay-per-view to where they can really tear the house down. You know what I'd love to see? Some kind of stipulation match with these guys. Like if one of them did have a belt. Imagine if those two had a ladder match.
They have in Ring of Honor.
Yeah. Could you imagine
really
if they had one in WWE?
Yeah.
Like how great that match could be. But
We got a sample of that at Mania.
yeah, we saw them in a ladder match, but it wasn't just one-on-one. I've always been more of a fan of a one-on-one ladder match.
I've always been a fan of more of one-on-one anything.
Yeah,
especially for a belt.
I mean, I know 6 people, 7 people in a ladder match makes it more entertaining because it gives guys a chance to rest while other guys are doing their stuff.
Yeah.
There's always something going on with those kind of matches, but I prefer to see the one-on-one matches, maybe, just because more storyline value there.
I like those ladder matches more multiple when they're tag teams than singles.
Yeah.
So.
But anyway, that's what they have planned for AJ. Obviously,
AJ Styles
number
goes
one
over.
contender.
Yep.
He's going to be one-on-one with Roman Reigns. Hopefully.
How it should be.
I wonder who the fans are going to cheer for in that one.
It's in Chicago. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure AJ is probably going to be the crowd favorite. Just going on a limb there.
You see it now. Even kids are They have the gloves on the merch now. You see the kids wearing the gloves in the crowd. I've even seen kids with their thumbs down for Roman Reigns. It's spreading all across the demographics.
It's like Lex Luger all over again.
Oh, definitely.
Give
him a bus.
He was your hero for a month, and then
Well, let's
Big
move
old
on
fart.
from that great match.
we had.
Out of 5 stars, what'd you get? I'd give it 4.
I gave it a 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
The only reason I didn't give it 5 is just because it was a Raw match.
How many matches do you get a 5 though? Like once every couple of years? Or...
Well, I mean, depending on the right
Personal
circumstance, the right venue. Like, if these two could have had a match at, like, WrestleMania or something, I feel like it could have had 5 stars just because I think there would have been more time allotted.
they would have put more out there because of wrestling. But let's move on.
Our debut of the week this week. We had another debut this week, guys.
Here's the big news of Raw.
We've been hearing about this for weeks.
And waiting and waiting.
Speculation finally happened during the tag team title tournament.
Wait. The Bullet Club.
Bullet Club.
Finally, not called the Bullet Club. Gallows and Anderson.
Gallows and Anderson, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson made their debut finally. And to make us sound even smarter, they attacked the Usos, cousins of Roman Reigns.
And so that leads me to believe,
like we speculated before,
that they're not going to go with a Roman heel. They're going to turn AJ heel because he was the leader of the Bullet Club in Japan.
Yeah.
And cousins of Roman, kind of see where they're going if, it takes some time.
But anyway, the Bullet Club got a huge pop.
Oh, yeah.
Even on the babyface
More than I
Usos.
thought they would get.
Well,
because it's Japanese wrestling.
Yeah, but the Usos, I guess, have kind of gotten really stale, and the fans are kind of getting sick of it. Except for the little kids. They still have the little kid appeal with the face paint. And,
Ew.
Yeah, and they're little Uso.
But they're definitely in Roman Cena territory where fans don't want to see them.
See, what I'm worried about is if they do go with this angle with AJ and the Bullet Club, how are they really going to come over as bad guys against Roman and the Usos right now?
Well, we were talking about the Bullet Club Shield last week.
Yeah.
Maybe this is the building block to that. With the Bullet Club as babyface. You don't know what they're going to do.
I think if anything, I think AJ and the Bullet Club are going to come off as babyfaces.
It seems like lately they're trying to appeal more to the older fans.
I don't think they have a choice.
Yeah, because they're just revolting.
I mean, the young fans are the ones that buy the merchandise, obviously, because... Mommy, I want my John Cena t-shirt.
And my Usos headband.
Yeah, that stuff. But when it comes to actual viewing, as far as watching matches, you can tell who's really controlling the show.
Plus, for the big pay-per-views, the adults are the ones that go to it. That's on a school night, for one.
Mm-hmm.
The ticket prices for pay-per-views are ridiculous, especially now. So
yeah.
But yeah, they beat the shit out of the Usos. They looked really good. Luke Gallows looks the best I've ever seen him. Festus lives.
He's not part of the straight edge society anymore, but he's looking good.
He's
Carl
drinking
Anderson,
beer and smoking pot.
You know what I think about? You know what I think about Carl Anderson? I think he has main eventer written all over him.
You think?
I think he could be a single star.
I love his look. I just worry for him because of his height, but you know how that goes.
I know, but I love his look. I love his attitude.
He looks like a little shit kicker.
He looks like a little Stone Cold. You know what I mean? Yeah. He looks like he could be like a Stone Cold kind of guy. Like, I'm going to kick the fuck out of you.
I've watched this debut at least 4 times on YouTube.
And the pop was huge.
Yeah.
Especially for a tag team.
Well, not just that. Like, he has a lot of charisma.
Absolutely. You could just see he didn't have to do anything. Just standing there with that look on his face. Carl Anderson to me is a star in the making if they do it correctly.
If they do it correctly.
Yes. Which is something that they're not always that great at.
No. They don't have the best track record, obviously.
But obviously... he's part of a faction, hopefully.
Is this how you would have debuted the Bullet Club? Because I wouldn't have debuted them all like, hey, we're here.
Well, how would you have debuted them?
At a pay-per-view, at least.
Really?
In a main event. I mean, it's obvious, but sometimes obvious, you just have to do it, I don't know. If this is long-term setting up to, because they're the cousins of Roman, then it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
But if they're just like, hey, we're here. Then really, that's the best you have.
See, I'm gonna respectfully disagree.
They did come in with like the outsiders. I see that.
I'm gonna respectfully disagree with you on this one, just because I've always been a big fan of Raw debuts, like Chris Jericho. Look at that debut happened on Raw.
Yeah,
I mean, there's certain I like it on Raw.
Loudest pop ever, still one of them.
Maybe for a debut.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say ever, but
it's up there.
It's close. But he was quickly drowned out by The Rock.
Yeah.
Because it was The Rock in his prime. But
much.
Anyway, that's why I've always liked Raw, because it's so surprising to you. Pay-per-views, you always kind of look for something surprising. Hopefully something surprising is going to happen. Raw, you kind of get to a point where, it's Raw. But then you have something like this happen, you're like, oh, holy shit, it's the Bullet Club.
Maybe it wasn't as being on pay-per-view as much as just how it was on the card, or maybe I feel like it should have been a main event.
It could have happened in the main event of the...
Kind of like the Shield did years ago.
Yeah, so. I understand that part.
But I also see the been there and done that.
Yeah.
The unexpected or whatever. But that was the Bullet Club. Can't wait to see what they do with them from here on. Hopefully good things. They have stars written all over them.
Well, obviously they got to get a promo next week of some sort. They got to be able to get on the mic a little bit.
And shout out to Luke Gallows for totally reinventing his career. Talk about a kickstart. Jesus.
I always thought the guy was talented, to be honest with you.
He's never had a chance.
I don't think I thought he finally got a chance when they put him with CM Punk.
Yeah. Well, it's better than biscuits and gravy.
Yeah, I feel like that was drowned out just because of what CM Punk was going through with the company.
Yeah.
But on
Wasn't
that
meant
note,
to.
congratulations to the Bullet Club making your debut. You made it to the big time, kid.
The fans on Twitter, I saw it when it happened, and it was just Twitter exploded.
Oh yeah,
as you would expect.
Hashtag Bullet Club.
Oh yeah, but top trend.
Mm-hmm.
But what's next on a Raw format here?
We're gonna go ahead and start with a new segment this week. I don't know if we really have a proper name for it yet, but I want to go over the people that are getting pushed and the people that aren't.
All right.
Let's start this week's push.
I feel like right here, when I do the edit, I'm gonna put push it real good.
Either that, or we could do a. I think the way we should do it is I should name somebody, and you either say push or no push.
Like
Yep.
rapid fire.
Yep.
5 guys for me, 5 guys for you each week.
I'm gonna give you one right now. Apollo Crews.
Oh, push.
Push.
He's shiny new thing. You push him.
You
Do you
like
debut him to squash him?
You like him?
I don't know about on the mic. Well, we'll see. We talked about him last week. I like him as an IC guy. Push.
You can tell that he's a young guy that's listening to a lot of people backstage just by
Too
his,
smiley.
Yes, thank you.
Way too smiley.
By his demeanor.
That shit does not
Yes.
get over.
When you come out to the ring and all you do is smile, it just reminds me of Rocky Maivia.
Yeah.
But that's my biggest thing with him.
Die.
As far as his ring work, I think he's pretty good. I don't think there's anything that really jumps out at you. I mean, he's athletic.
I think he's phenomenal in the ring. No offense, AJ.
I think he's pretty good. But as far as Apollo Crews goes, I see him more as IC guy, Intercontinental guy. Until he improves on the microphone and changes his character a little bit, I think I just have a hard time seeing this guy as a babyface. Just his look just is suited for like a monster heel kind of guy. Of course, a lot of people compare him to Bobby Lashley. I don't know if that's a fair comparison. I guess it is. But as far as I see him right now, I see him as an IC guy at best. Right now, they're pushing him on a bunch of jobbers. But anybody you had in mind personally for a question for me? Push, no push?
Enzo and Cass.
Push the
to the
fuck out.
fucking moon.
Push the fuck out of them. I think you got to push these guys. They got charisma out the asshole.
You notice something about this tag team division? It's like exploded. I haven't seen a division like this since like the Killer Bees Bulldogs era. Look at the Bullet Club, Enzo and Cass, New Day.
It's get there. I still don't think it's that level yet. Just because.
Well, not to that like standard,
Yeah.
but the amount of actual, not just thrown together bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, you have your R-Truths and Gold Dust,
And you
here
got
there.
you got your what are those El Matadors or whatever they're called?
No, now they're not. They're Primo and Epico. Did you see that on Raw? They had a vignette.
Okay.
They were
So
doing
they're
like
getting rid of
We
that
Love
finally.
Quarter, and they're talking
Yeah.
about Carlito's coming back to be a
Okay.
stable. That'd be
But
pretty cool.
Also, they had another NXT team in this tournament.
The Vaudevillains.
Yes, they kind of strike me as jobbers.
Oh, too goofy to get.
Yeah.
Funny don't draw money.
Yeah, it's Jobberville, but I think as far as good tag teams, there's a handful. But it is getting a lot better. Trust me, it's come up a long way. Just like the women's division, I feel like these two divisions have really stepped up a lot in the past year.
Oh yeah, the women's division is night and day from what it was a year.
But you
Look at the
have-
women's division a year ago.
But with these divisions getting better, you have to give the credit to the people that are making it better, aka the New Day.
Yeah.
How much tag team time would they be putting on these shows if it wasn't for the New Day? When the New Day has to come out and promote this title tournament, you know who's making this division.
Oh yeah.
Same thing with the women's division. Charlotte, Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, they're making this division.
No Paige anywhere to be found.
Paige-
Where is Paige?
That's a good question.
Did they push Paige too soon? Okay, here's my next one for you. Paige. Great segue. Push or de-push? That is a fucking tough one. Because she never really did anything wrong.
I would say D-push.
De-push?
I don't like her on the microphone.
This is my house!
And it's just borderline annoying. She's stale.
Awful
to me.
headbutts.
Yeah, and she's stale right now, to be honest. I think she's being outshined. Great worker, but as far as on the microphone, I mean, I don't really see any one great mic skill girl right now,
Sasha.
except for Sasha. The rest of the girls are mediocre. I mean, Charlotte is okay.
I was about to say, does Charlotte talk really slow?
Yes,
Or is it just me?
I think I've mentioned that before.
Have you?
Why does she have to talk so fucking slow like we're retarded?
If you want a
Yeah.
shot at my
yeah.
belt.
Yeah, it's just kind of borderline annoying. Like, stop.
Plus, Ric Flair's got to go eventually.
I think that's what they're trying to build up
People
to.
don't want to boo Ric Flair.
They keep building this up, but if you saw a couple of the matches where she's lost in the past few months, she yells at him.
Yeah.
I think
So
that's
that's
what they're
obviously-
building up to eventually.
Before we jump all over the place, what's your next one you got for me? We're on 4 for me.
All right. Let's go with Tyler Breeze.
Push. How can you say he's already been pushed into the ground? So you got to push Tyler Breeze.
Do you think he deserves a push?
Sure.
Why?
He's new.
And he's already been relegated to jobber duty.
You got to turn it around. If Zack Ryder can win the Intercontinental title a week ago at WrestleMania,
Where's he at now?
Well,
Back to where he was before.
he's in the conversation,
But
that's more than Tyler Breeze.
I'm just saying, Tyler Breeze. I would
Well, what about you then?
Back to
You're
N-
number 3, Tyler Breeze.
back to NXT. I think he needs a different gimmick. I always thought the gimmick was silly. I didn't think it would get over,
Yeah.
and I really think Vince hates the gimmick, but I think that shows with where he's putting him on the card.
Oh yeah. I think it's the case that Triple H loved the gimmick, and then
Yeah.
I don't get this.
Yeah, this is silly.
We already had Johnny Nitro. All right, my next one for you. Here's an interesting one. Rusev.
Rusev.
Push. Rusev squash. With Lana?
I think that's. I don't think you can go back and do it anymore. I think they already ruined it. They already ruined it with turning her baby
With a
face.
pointless fucking storyline.
Yeah,
That made no difference.
I thought it was great when it started. He had so much heat. It was cheap heat. I love Russia, Vladimir Putin.
It was getting over.
It
as a
was.
heel.
I mean, and he
It
was beating
working.
everybody, and the fans hated it.
Yeah.
And it was like that classic, like Sergeant Slaughter kind of heat. You know what I mean? But if I had my choice in it, I would push him. I think he could be another great Intercontinental contender, at least for right now. I think the Intercontinental division could be so much deeper than it's being made,
Yeah.
just with all the talent that they have. But they put him in a faction just to give him something to do, I think.
Well, that was our first ever push and D push. Maybe next time we'll just have it to 1 each week.
Yeah.
One guy.
We'll
that
do
was a good start
Yeah,
for it.
I liked it. It felt good.
Speaking of the Intercontinental belt, we got a new number 1 contender. Cesaro. It's about time.
It's another guy that we've been waiting for forever to get his push. And you know what I did notice this week on Raw? After he won his match, he actually had a nice little segment with The Miz.
Backstage.
I thought it was pretty good on the mic there. I could tell his English is not bad.
Yeah.
It's a lot better.
Yeah.
I could see him going places. Hopefully, it's going to end up with more than an Intercontinental belt,
Hopefully.
because I think he's got main
But he
event.
needs to pick up that promo game.
He's got main event talent.
Did you see how they give him like a James Bond entrance now? Like
Yeah.
a golden eye?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I think he's got main event written all over him, especially in the ring.
As a heel,
Uh,
I think there's more money with him as a heel with the belt to be chased.
yeah, but the fans
They love
him. How
We
you
can put him with someone they love more, like a Sami Zayn or...
Yeah, I guess you could do that, but then you'd just be doing the Jericho thing again. You know what I mean? Like Jericho, we're gonna turn him heel because he's working with somebody that's more over.
Yeah.
But Cesaro in the ring, I can't think of too many guys in this company that can hang with him.
Yeah.
He
Well,
can work.
Owens did on this show. That was
He-
a great match. Kevin Owens and Cesaro.
You put two guys in the ring together that could work with anybody, and they were working with each other, which just made for magic.
Yeah.
And I think this was an awesome match. It was second to AJ and Sammy in my view. It was
Open
close.
the show with this.
It
It
was-
was actually Shane and
Yeah.
Kevin Owens.
It was a close second, but I think the AJ and Sammy match was just a little bit better. This match still was
I agree.
awesome. This match still I thought was really good.
Yeah.
4 out of 5 stars. I'd definitely give it a B plus. But I was glad to see Cesaro go over. I think it makes more sense. You got to get the belt off of Kevin Owens to set up his rivalry with Sami Zayn.
I'm just thankful this didn't lead to a Zack Ryder Miz rematch at Payback. Good Lord.
Feds probably would have shit all over that.
Good Lord.
That would have been on the pre-show.
Probably. So no.
Hopefully this match isn't on the pre-show.
I don't think it will be.
Hopefully Cesaro and The Miz are actually on the main card, because I actually think it's going to be a good match.
I hate when they do that, especially a title match.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
what the fuck?
That just takes more prestige out of it. Like, that's what the U.S. title's been relegated to.
Well, we're getting down here about the end of our Raw weekly recap. We got the women's title match.
The women's title match, you had Natalya going one-on-one with the champ, Charlotte. You had our special guest of the week, Dr. Phil, was at ringside for this match.
He seemed like he was a little knowledgeable, honestly, but maybe they would like told him backstage, like, this is what's going on in the story. So.
Yeah, I thought it was, a cute little segment, but
it was an all right match. Nothing wrong with this match except the finish.
I like the match. The finish, I think they were just used it for a setup for a title match at the pay-per-view.
With the Natalya, you think?
Yeah. I think they're just using Natalya, throwing her a bone.
Well, I'm happy for her.
Yeah, I think she deserves it.
Definitely.
Obviously, the only thing that got me with this is every time Natalya wants the crowd to cheer, you hear her in the ring, "Come on, guys!" I don't know if you heard that during this match, but I heard it a couple times.
Yeah.
Natalya, another one, doesn't have really good mic skills. Awesome in the ring.
Yeah.
What do you do with her? You put her as somebody to put somebody over. That's what she does. I mean, that's what she's.
I would hope that after what we saw at WrestleMania and the whole build-up, that they wouldn't just put on Natalya.
No, that wouldn't make any sense.
That pushes Sasha and Becky at the same time.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Unless they're setting this up to get rid of Flair. That would be the only thing that might make sense.
I think that's where they're going.
I don't think they're going to put the belt on Natalya, but I think when Charlotte finally does lose this belt, I think you're going to see the split with Daddy. But good match. Natalya wins by DQ because Flair grabbed the referee as Charlotte was getting ready to tap to the sharpshooter.
How many times are they going to stick to the same finish? They just keep doing the same.
And I think it takes away from Charlotte. I mean, I know she's a heel. She's supposed to be a heel.
She's really good.
She has to lose but still win,
Yeah.
But, God, can we let her win a match clean?
Yeah. Even against, like, a jobber.
Yeah.
A jobber girl. Who's a jobber girl? Summer Rae. Something like that.
Why does she have to win every match because Flair helps her?
It does her no favors.
Yeah.
At all.
That's my only thing. The only other thing to go over on Raw this week, we didn't really touch on a whole lot. The tag team title tournament.
Yeah. I don't remember all the teams off the top of my head. You got a few that don't stand, like the Ascension.
Yeah, they're jobbers. I see we had a couple teams win this week. We saw the Usos win. We saw the Dudleys win.
So who do you think is going to face the New Day at Payback and win the tag title tournament? I'm going with... My heart wants to say Enzo and Cass, but I have a feeling it's going to be the Dudleys and the New Day.
We went over this last week on how they should do this Enzo and Cass New Day thing.
Keep them away from each other.
Yeah, that was your thing. As far as Enzo and Cass go, I think something's going to happen because I think they won their first round match, because they had it on SmackDown.
Oh.
Their first round match and their next opponents are the Dudleys in the semifinals.
Gotcha.
I wouldn't be surprised if something happened in that to where maybe a
DQ.
Yeah,
a
DQ.
fuck finish.
Yeah.
A dusty.
And then
finish.
whoever wins the other semi automatically wins the tournament.
Yeah.
But
early predictions for the tourney. April Madness.
My heart wants to say Enzo and Cass, but I don't think it would be smart booking.
Too soon.
It would make sense with the WWE because when do they do smart booking?
Yeah.
Unless it's NXT.
You can't use Social Outcasts anymore. They're gone. Sorry, Michael.
Damn it.
Yeah, I know that was your pick.
They're my dark horse.
We saw a bow train on Raw. Did you see the bow train? That was great. Those guys make me laugh. I don't even care if they're pure jobbers. They're like the new job squad. Give them the shirts.
I think the only team that really makes sense, I guess, other than Enzo and Cass, would have to be the Dudleys. You got to put them with a heel team. You got to put the New Day with a heel team.
The Usos are still in the tournament. They won their match.
Yeah, the Usos are still in, but why would you put them with the New Day again?
We've seen it.
I think the Dudleys haven't really had their title shot yet.
Well, they did last fall, I think.
Yeah, but
they were babyface. It's different now.
It's interesting
so
here.
We're both going Dudleys. Prediction.
I like the Dudleys. I didn't really get to see the whole bracket here. I mean, maybe I'll revise my prediction during our first break when I look at the bracket.
Well, it's like you said, there's really no other serious teams.
Yeah, as far as off the top of my head, what would really make sense? I think it's the Dudleys.
Can you see the Bullet Club? Okay. You have Enzo and Cass beat the Dudleys.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you book it as Enzo and Cass and the New Day. Can you see the Bullet Club attacking Enzo and Cass, and then it's the Bullet Club versus the New Day?
I don't know how that would happen, though.
Yeah.
Just because you attack somebody, you get their title shot.
I'm just trying to think how they can avoid Enzo and Cass versus the New
What
Day.
is this, Chris Jericho in the Elimination Chamber? just because you attack somebody
You're in
and
the match.
you get their spot.
With the Rumble 92, where you can jump over the top and come back in.
Yeah.
Do whatever the fuck you want.
But
What a stacked Rumble, by the way.
that was an awesome Rumble.
One of the best.
Yeah, we might have to watch that again tonight.
But
That's
was
our
Raw.
Raw. That was our Raw this week, guys. So that brings us to our first break, guys. Stick with us.
we got a lot of show.
When we come back, we're going to have our news and rumors of the week. Stay tuned for that. We're going to have our question this week from our fans. We'll also have our match of the week, which is my turn this week.
It's your turn all over the place.
It is my turn all over the
It's
place.
your Mania
My
and
Mania.
your match. You want
Absolutely.
to say what both are going to be, or you want to...
Absolutely. I think we already went over it last week. To reiterate, our match of the week this week, Bret Hart versus Roddy Piper for the Intercontinental title
It's a good one.
at WrestleMania 8.
It's a bloody match.
It was awesome.
Is that the birth of you want to have another hot dog? I think that's where it happened in the match.
But on top of that, we're going to go over my WrestleMania of the week. WrestleMania 19 live from Safeco Field in Seattle. A lot of really great matches on that card. We're going to go over that. One of, I think, the most underrated WrestleManias that nobody really talks about. But we're really going to go over that one tonight. But first,
Before we do,
we're going to have our first.
well, when we come back, we're going to have kind of a downer. We're going to pay tribute to two guys that passed away this week. So before we do, here's a tribute to one. A great promo from the late Blackjack Mulligan on the Slam Pigs podcast.
We'll see you in a bit.
Gunslingers, bounty hunters, mercenaries, you name it. The gentleman with me right now is for hire. He's a paid assassin, Blackjack Mulligan, and he's coming to Minnesota.
Well, you see, for the people of Minnesota that don't understand who I am and where I'm coming from, what you're looking at, see, we don't even acknowledge Minnesota and West Texas because we thought you folks had canceled football up there. We don't even understand what's happening. So for your information, you trivia fans, what you're looking at is 1/3 of the greatest wrestling team ever assembled, undefeated, undisputed world tag team champions of all time. Blackjack Mulligan, brother. 6'7", 310 pounds. The heavy 1/3 of the team that carried us to sell out crowds unequal in the sport of wrestling. Bobby Heenan has asked me to do a job, and brother, they have called the man that'll do it without any question. Nick Bockwinkel and myself are going in the ring against Mad Dog Vachon and the Crusher. And you see, Mad Dog, I am not in awe of you and the Crusher one bit, because I am afraid of no man alive. And the job I have been asked to do is destroy the Crusher and Mad Dog all in one swipe. When you ever put your creepy hands on Bobby Heenan again, Mad Dog Vachon and Crusher, I'll break every bone in your body, and you'll never be able to bite, scratch, kick, fight, or talk ever again.
That was the legendary Blackjack Mulligan. Not sliding down the banister.
Sorry, little sweet Dr. Pepper commercial. I love it.
We watched a little sweet sliding down the banister on YouTube during the break.
It's pretty awesome.
But yeah, Blackjack Mulligan. Man,
Passed
Bray
away this
Wyatt
week.
is having a rough week.
He's not having a good week, but we are, because we're back here on the Slam Pigs podcast, episode number 7.
Number 7.
Slam Pigs 7. But this does bring us into the sad news of the week. We had 2 deaths this week. First, starting off with the legendary Hall of Famer Blackjack Mulligan.
Yep. He was actually sick for a long time, I read online. So shout out to you, Blackjack.
Hopefully you're up there
Mulligan.
giving out clotheslines in heaven.
Is Blackjack Lanza dead?
I'm not sure.
Remember the new Blackjacks?
Yeah.
Awful.
There wasn't JBL in there.
And Barry. Blackjack Mulligan's son, Barry Windham.
Yep.
And his son-in-law is Mike Rotunda.
Huh.
That's Bray Wyatt's father.
Oh, wow.
And Bo Dallas. So
So they got a little blackjack in them,
they got a little Blackjack in him.
evidently.
Well, that age was pretty much due to... That death was pretty much due to age, sorry.
Yeah.
But this next death, I'm pretty sure was drug-related.
Yep.
Sad. Axel Rotten just died 2 months ago due to heroin overdose.
A.K.A. Balls Mahoney.
No, Axel Rotten was a Ball's partner, remember?
Oh, I'm sorry.
The blonde.
Sorry.
The chair-swinging freaks from ECW. My cat is clawing the shit out of Michael's back. So you can't really focus on...
I'm really trying not to scream.
Sorry, Balls Mahoney, for your little remembrance section being ruined by my cat.
Do you want to tell people what your cat's name is that's scratching the shit out of me?
Lance.
Lance who?
Lance Storm.
Lance Storm.
His name's not actually Lance Storm, but his name's Lance. But Michael calls him Lance Storm.
Oh, whatever. You started it. It's your cat.
You actually started calling him Lance Storm. I would never call any animal Lance Storm.
He's got as much charisma as Lance Storm did.
Yeah, my dead pinky toe has as much charisma.
But, sorry.
Balls Mahoney, I'm pretty sure it was drug related.
Yeah.
What, any memories of Balls Mahoney? You weren't a big ECW fan.
Balls
Well,
Mahoney.
not maybe, you just didn't see that
Balls
much.
Mahoney was a ECW jobber, pretty much.
He was a tag champ in ECW.
Oh, well, that's good. So he was a mid-card jobber. But never really amounted to much outside of ECW.
Do you remember Santa Claus? Do you remember that awful gimmick?
Yes.
That was Balls Mahoney. We saw Balls Mahoney as kids when we met Bam Bam Bigelow in the ring. Because remember Boo Bradley?
Yeah.
That was Balls Mahoney. Still have the Polaroid of us as kids with Bam Bam in the ring.
Mom has it.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Might post
Another
that.
guy that passed away.
Might post that on the Twitter page or something.
Oh, definitely. But rest in peace, Balls Mahoney.
Rest in peace, Bam Bam. You're a lot more important than Balls Mahoney. No offense.
Well,
but Balls Mahoney's dead.
There you have it.
Didn't see that one coming. on to our
Stay
next...
classy, Michael.
Sorry. On to our next piece of news.
This is hilarious.
Little,
this is fucking hilarious.
Well,
not to say the Balls... I don't mean Balls Mahoney Don was fucking hilarious. I mean, our next piece of business here, TNA is in so much financial woes and trouble. They have moved... I think they were evicted, I read, from their world headquarters, quote-unquote, office in Nashville to their merchandise warehouse as their main headquarters.
Surprised?
TNA is like that fucking bug that you think you stepped on and it died. It just will not die.
Their talent pool just keeps getting more and more shallow.
The champion is Drew McIntyre.
Which, good for Drew. You know, I thought he got kind of a raw deal in WWE. But anyway, besides that,
We covered that. This is about TNA just being a laughing stock.
Besides that, they're just full of over-the-hill talent and NXT rejects.
It's just WWE light, pretty much. That's why TNA never broke through.
It's like a bland attitude era WWE. It's what they try to be, and it's just not entertaining.
Did Hogan and Bischoff kill TNA?
I thought TNA was dead before that. I thought they were dead when they tried to move to Monday nights. I thought that was the downfall.
Well, yeah.
I think if they just stuck...
That was after Hogan and Bischoff.
Yeah, if they stuck to... If they had stuck to what they were doing, I thought they were slowly building a product. And I think when they tried to go head-to-head with WWE, obviously it didn't last long. But I thought that pretty much just killed their product. I thought people just were like, I'm not watching this crap. Yeah. You know, it just wasn't... It was too...
I'll watch the real thing.
It reminded me too much of WCW in this latter stage.
Oh, yeah.
Bunch of...
having Bischoff there didn't help.
Bunch of wacky booking that didn't make any sense.
Russo.
I mean, it's all these run-ins and stupid angles that had no point.
How many companies does Vince Russo have to creatively kill for people to stop fucking hiring Vince Russo? Is it that fucking hard? David Arquette.
How many times? I mean, imagine if our lives were that good, where we could just fuck up in job after job and they just kept hiring us back.
It's like I work at the bank and I keep stealing money.
Yeah, and they just hire you back.
That's okay.
Yeah, we'll hire you back.
Maybe next week will be better.
Yeah, maybe you won't steal from us next week.
The ratings will get better.
Yeah, that's pretty much what this is compared to.
Yeah.
But that's TNA news of the week.
I think TNA really started getting shitty. Remember the main event Mafia crap? That fake NWO garbage?
I didn't mind that. I thought that was an okay idea.
TNA guys.
I thought it was an okay.
Hey, there was a time. Remember TNA had a video game. TNA was popular.
Yep.
TNA was that NXT at the time. If I'll go that far.
Yep. When they had those X Division matches.
That
the Ultimate X.
Yep. Exactly. I don't remember the name of it.
when Samoa Joe was there and AJ Styles and all those guys that made that company, they were on fire.
And now where are they? On fire on the big stage.
Getting ready to be flushed down the toilet, hopefully. Like a
AJ Styles and Joe?
Well, I'm talking about where they are now.
You want them to be flushed down the toilet?
No, I'm talking about
TNA. I think it's definitely time. I'm not a TNA fan.
It's like that.
I haven't been a TNA fan.
It's like when you poop and you have that turd that you thought you flushed, but it's still there. And
TNA's probably smells worse though.
It probably does. But
Don West.
Sorry to get a little graphic there.
Don West still work there?
I don't know.
This is Don West, and here's a fucking deal.
You know who their main announcer is now?
Josh Matthews.
Yeah.
It's awful.
And Taz.
No more Mike Tenay. I guess he's not with TNA anymore.
No, it's Josh Matthews and Taz.
Tenay and A.
It's a bunch of shit.
Well, let's move on, please, from TNA.
Thank God.
What's next on the
another
rumor?
piece of funny news. Probably going to make a lot of you laugh. I know it made me laugh when I heard about it. Renee Dupree suing WWE.
When was the last time he ever got brought up?
Not in the last 10 years.
Here's what I know about this story, from what I can recollect. He's suing for royalties that he's not receiving, like a lot of guys aren't for the network. Now, apparently he signed a contract that stated that he's like relinquishing all royalties that he didn't bother to tell his attorney about. So the attorney looked like an idiot. So this is going to get thrown out probably. But the fact is that he asked for like $4 or $5 million within a year's or so time of the network. Renee Dupree was definitely worth $5 million, I would say. That French tickler move was really just...
What royalties does he get?
I'd give him $50 and a pat on the back. Thank you for the poodle.
I mean,
remember the poodle?
Yes.
He had a poodle.
What royalties? What? Because he's on some matches on the network from 10 years ago.
Like how many guys aren't getting shit that are so much better than Renee Dupree? Ricky Morton Fires on there. You got your fucking Chavo Guerrero. He's better. I would rather watch Chavo Guerrero versus The Miz in a Legends Battle Royal with a bunch of other shitty guys than anything with Renee Dupree. You're worth 10 fucking cents.
Hey, Renee Dupree, you were giving fucking Balls Mahoney credit. Renee Dupree's a former WWE Tag Team Champ.
I would rather watch Balls Mahoney
La Resistance
in undies wrestle Bastion Booger in a evening gown match.
Renee Dupree was a Tag Team Champ. Just want you to know
with
that.
Rob fucking Conway.
Yep.
Who gives a shit? That was awful.
Yep.
Let's be real here.
Hey.
You're being sarcastic.
Guess
Is Renee Dupree worth $5 million?
They beat the Dudleys for the belts.
So the Dudleys must be worth $200 million.
I'm just saying. If we're gonna go over career achievements,
well,
you wanted to.
That was during the era where
pump up Balls Mahoney because he died.
Renee Dupree held belts. I think he was United States champion too, actually, and that's fucking sad, really sad. But that was that era where like everyone could get a belt. Like Test had a belt. Steve Blackman had a belt.
That was back when that European title was passed around like hotcakes.
Oh man, Midian probably had a fucking belt. You remember Midian when he was naked Midian? I'd rather watch that than Renee Dupree.
You mean Phineas Godwin?
Guys, let's start a stance. Let's boycott Renee Dupree and his stupid fucking French gimmick. Could you be any more stereotypical?
Hashtag fuck Renee Dupree.
I don't know how much of that was on Renee Dupree, but I'm just saying the arrogance he has, even at sue for $100. You signed a contract. So
because that's who people were coming to see.
It's just a case of
that's
another.
Why he deserves his royalties. People were coming to see that Renee Dupree fire.
To be serious, Renee Dupree fire. It's more like a fucking stain. But to be serious, it's just another case of a washed up WWE guy.
Renee Dupree fires like a lighter that doesn't work.
That little spark. Damn it!
It's like, God damn it! I need another lighter.
I need another Dupree. He's very disposable like a bick.
That's our news and rumors of the week this week, guys.
Well, let me bottom line it. I didn't get the...
Go ahead.
It's just a case of a broken down wrestler, down out of his luck, going to the well, and the well has completely been dry for years, and it never really had that much water to begin with. So, this would be like fucking Hardcore Holly asking for $200 million.
You leave Bob Holly alone.
Ugh.
He's done some great things.
Like what?
Well, he was a tag
Moving
champ.
on. No.
He was a tag champ. He's held numerous belts.
With the kid?
Yep. He was tag champ with somebody else, too. I'm trying to remember who it was, but he's...
Well, you said and you think about
we're
that, because I'm going to move on from
that's a good
Hardcore
trivia question. But,
Maybe Renee Dupree was his partner. God. The French assholes. Because there you go. Well, that was our news and rumors for the week, guys. There was a lot going on this week. A lot of sad, a lot of weird, a lot of funny news all in one there this week. So I hope you guys like that segment.
But we're going to kick it up with some happy stuff.
Kick it up?
Yep, we're going to kick that
We're
shit.
kicking it up.
We're kicking it up to the sky.
With some happy shit.
We're gonna get our fan question of the week coming from our buddy Frost.
We got one this week, guys. That's all good.
We only got one this week.
Hey, we understand life happens. We're just glad you guys even listened to begin with.
I'm happy about it, but I think that we could have some more. I want to know what happened to some of our regular listeners. Sasha, Janine,
the fact
I'm calling you out.
There's a million wrestling podcasts,
yeah,
and we're like peons. The fact that we even have 120 subscribers on Hibiki TMD in general, thank you guys so much. Like every subscriber means the world.
I'm just saying, I always want more.
He's a little irritated, guys.
I like to shoot for the stars.
Maybe he's a little let down. You guys let him down.
Yeah, I mean,
he's got a little sad puppy dog.
I mean, between that and
he'll make you his puppy dog bitch.
Between that and the poll we did, I'm just a little down and out this week. But
do you want to bring up the poll?
Let's bring it up.
Well, last it was your idea last week. It's on record.
Last week, Travis pissed me off, and I
pulled a Jeff Jarrett.
I wanted to ask all our viewers out here who they liked more, me or Travis. And I got a big whopping 0 votes to Travis's however many votes he got. We don't need to bring it up. He got more than I did to my 0.
It wasn't like a whopping voting.
You got a lot more votes than I did. Evidently, y'all like Travis more, and that's fine. I see how it is.
Maybe you should change some things about yourself.
I'm not going to change me.
Well, I wouldn't expect
this is a little bit of me being me.
Well, the point is, I like you.
I
would have voted for you.
No, you wouldn't.
I think you pick it up.
I like what I do, and
because I feel like I drag on sometimes.
I understand you're the baby face of the duo.
Why am I gonna be the
baby face? I'll be the heel.
Why can't we be a tag team?
Well, I think I just shoot from the hip a little bit more. I think I say things without filter.
So I'm the Brett and you're the Owen.
I guess if you want to put it that way. But it is what it is. I think I'm still appreciated for my work. But I understand, guys. I'm a little sad.
Thank you guys for voting.
Might go home and cry on my pillow a little bit, but
pillow.
Yep,
pillow.
I said pillow.
Pillow.
Sorry,
Natty Bo's in the house, guys.
A little too redneck for this podcast, evidently.
No,
but
no, I like saying pillow more than pillow. I'd rather say pillow. Well, that was
our little poll of the week. If anybody would like to recant their vote. I mean, it would mean a lot to me.
We'll put a new poll up off the top of your head. Anything related. It could be wrestling, anything. What poll would you like to see on the Twitter machine?
Favorite women's wrestler of all time?
Of all time.
I think that's just one of those off-the-wall questions.
I'm not sure how many choices I can give on the creative poll. So, maybe we should narrow it down.
We'll narrow it down. But
do you want to do like a best of...
All right, let's not do that. Let's do...
Scratch.
Let's do best match of all time. That one you could narrow down to 4 or 5 choices, right?
We'll see. I'm not
There's
sure.
only a few matches that you could really put on there.
I'll be able to narrow it down. Well, there you go. So, if you guys happen to get on Twitter, check the poll out. If not, no big whoop. It's all good.
You check it out. You check it out right now.
Well, let's get on to our question of the week. Frost, thank you, buddy. We'll see you next week,
Frost
hopefully.
want to know this week, what is the silliest moment and or gimmick to be taken seriously of all time? I guess I'll kick this one off. I'm not going to go with the obvious pick because I know that's Travis's. Silliest gimmick to be taken seriously?
Excuse me, it just, this is a tough one. Are you going to say Typhoon?
When was he ever taken seriously?
He had a little spurt, I think. He hurt Hulk. Wait, that was Earthquake. When he turned on Hulk for like 2 weeks, he was a big deal. And then, yeah, he was a tag champ. You want to bring up the tag belts to make somebody seem like they're worth $5 million.
Oh, you started it with your balls Mahoney. But
seriously, do you need some time?
I'm actually going to go with a WCW reference.
Oh.
I'm going to go with Sting.
Sting.
Silliest gimmick to ever be taken seriously. With the face paint and even whatever gimmick you want. If you want Crow Sting.
He did have a thing with RoboCop.
Yeah, if you want Blonde Sting, whichever one. I thought both gimmicks were kind of silly.
Yeah, I could see that.
I thought the whole woo. Yeah, I thought that was stupid.
I could see that, definitely.
That would be mine, I guess.
Well, we stated the obvious.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm going to say the original Undertaker gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
Looking back, you would think on paper it seems like the most ridiculous thing in the world. Even today, though, it still gets over. You know,
I think
Paul Bear.
I think the reason it got over is the evolution of his character.
Yeah.
I think if he just stayed with that same gimmick that he started with the whole zombie-like dead man thing, I don't think it would still be over.
Yeah, he had to change it up.
But he did change it up and really evolved his character a lot, which is what I would like to see a lot of these guys today do.
Now, The Undertaker had a lot of serious bullshit. I'm sorry, silly bullshit in his career that did not get over.
The Ministry.
Well, that got over. I'm thinking more like The Undertaker versus The Undertaker.
Yeah.
Or Undertaker versus fucking Giant Gonzalez.
Or Kamala.
Or Kama when he melted the urn. Perfectly molded it into the shape of a necklace, by the way. So this guy's fucking talented.
I think of The Undertaker putting Stone Cold on a cross, and I thought that was silly.
Kidnapping. I mean, there's a lot of silliness that didn't get over. But the original gimmick, in my opinion. So, Frost, thank you so much again. Every week you got a question for us, man. So at least you got our backs.
Appreciate you, Frost. We're going to have you on here next week, hopefully, if you're not working. You'll be our special guest of the week.
It's last break time, Michael.
It is last break time.
This show's flying by this week.
It's going quick.
We're going to be done before midnight, I think.
We still got a lot left to do here between my two things we got left here.
I know these two things mean a lot to you, too.
When we come back, we will have my match of the week, Bret Hart versus Roddy Piper, WrestleMania 8, live in Indianapolis at the Hoosier Dome. Not the Hoosier Daddy Dome, but the Hoosier Dome.
Hill?
The Hoosier Dome. But
Superdome, Hogan?
No.
Silverdome?
No. No, none of that. And my WrestleMania of the week, WrestleMania 19 from Seattle.
But first, it's your turn for the break promo. Michael, who you got on tap for this promo from the legendary?
This week's promo from me for our break is going to be from the Nature Boy.
Woo!
Ric Flair.
Ric Flair will be in the cage. No disqualification and no time limit.
You know, Tony Schiavone, you and I have been friends for, 5-6 years? You've come to master this sport from your end. I am the master of this sport from my end. And you know what really irks a lot of people out there? If you know any history about Ric Flair, you know that the difference between me and just about everybody else is I was born with a golden spoon in my mouth. Nobody likes that. They might say Ric Flair's a good guy. It's the old adage that you like to hear somebody's doing pretty good, but you don't want to hear they're doing better than you. You see? And the bottom line is, my whole career, I've always done better than anybody else. Only because of one reason. I was born with a golden spoon. I inherited the ability. I inherited the money. I inherited the God-given best looks in the world today. And with this, I dress myself in ultra suede. I dress myself in cashmere. Yeah. I dress myself in $100 pleated slacks. I dress myself in alligator shoes. I wear a $15,000 Rolex. I got Mercedes-Benz, Rolls-Royce, the biggest house on the biggest hill, on the biggest side of town. You know why I got all that? Because I was born with a golden spoon. And that took me to the World Heavyweight Wrestling Championship. Starrcade 87. Let me make something else very clear to you. Dusty Rhodes, Barry Windham, the Road Warriors, Ric Flair, and this time of free agency, don't think that we're not marketable people. Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, they go to the highest bidder. Now you figure that out, smarty. That means if I think I'm the best, then I must be working for the best and making the most. The same applies to Rhodes, the Warriors, Blanchard, Anderson, JJ, Luger. We work for the #1 operation. Jim Crockett, the Wrestling Network, Thanksgiving night, Starrcade 87. There's nothing else going on. The bottom line is, even these idiots over here know. They know that Jim Crockett, the Wrestling Network, is the best thing going. That's why they're here. Yeah, we don't care. We don't care. Chicago, Starcade Night. Garvin, you, my friend, have got to wrestle the man with the golden spoon. All the ability, all the looks, 4 times the world champion.
We're back. That was the Nature Boy Ric Flair. Nobody does it better.
That's
my opinion.
Ric Flair, one of the best all time on the mic. Gotta love it.
Well, it's time for the Slam Pigs Retro Match of the Week.
This week's match, guys, comes from Wrestlemania 8 live from the Hoosier Dome, Indianapolis.
Who? That was my horrible New Day impersonation.
Who? Yeah, mine wasn't any better. But it's from Indianapolis. Live, baby, live. I believe this was in 1992. 222. Little sweet coming down a bit.
Sorry, I can't stop doing it now. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. Anyway, Intercontinental title match. Let's have a little backstory on this. This was Roddy Piper's first and only singles belt that he ever won in the WWE.
Yeah. Who did he beat at the Rumble 92?
The Mountie.
In a thrown together match at the last minute?
Jacques Rougeau.
Brett had the flu or something, right?
No, Brett,
fever, something. Strep throat?
It was a work.
He always said it was?
It was a work, yeah. It was just to get the Mountie over.
Well, that's dumb.
It was just to set up WrestleMania, basically.
How's it getting the Mountie over if he just lost in 24 hours to Roddy Piper?
Well, no, it was just to get the belt on Roddy.
Just to build up the...
Yeah, basically.
Gotcha.
But, anyway, Bret Hart, Roddy Piper, Intercontinental title. That's your backstory. Bret Hart loses the belt at a house show to the Mountie. Evidently had 103-degree fever. Or no, I think Monsoon said 106.
I wonder if they're...
If you had 106-degree fever, I think you're dead.
Yeah.
But that's just WWE and their
like
exaggeration.
when they climb to the top of the old Blues cage, they're like, it's 20 feet in the air.
That's 15-foot high steel cage. But he's
really
magically
like
20.
feet.
Yeah. But anyway, he loses the belt at the house show to the Mountie. The Mountie magically the next day at the Royal Rumble defends it against Roddy Piper. Roddy Piper gets him clean in about 5 minutes with the sleeper hold.
Very boring match.
Yeah, it wasn't a good, but I mean, what do you
crowd
really...
popped.
Yeah, I mean, Roddy Piper winning a belt. I mean, babyface Piper winning a belt. So I thought it was long overdue. Set up for a great promo between these two before the match. Talking about bologna sandwiches.
Oh, that's exactly what I was going to say. That's exactly what I was going to say. That's like the only thing I remember about that promo. She slaps on the one piece of bologna or something.
But that's okay. We like that bologna.
Only Roddy Piper could talk about bologna sandwiches at a promo and make it work.
It was a great promo. And then
Let's throw that promo on the end of the show tonight.
God, I'd love to.
If I can find it, no promises.
Oh, it's not hard to find. Trust me. WrestleMania 8 Roddy Piper promo.
Yeah.
You search it real quick.
She slapped that bologna on there. Talking about Helen Hart.
Of course, you weren't potty trained till you were 7, but that doesn't matter. Yeah.
It's a pretty good Piper.
Yep.
I can't do a Piper to save my life.
And then Brett did his cool, serious face.
Typical Brett promo.
Well, he was still young. All right, he was learning.
Young Brett promo.
He was learning.
Brett didn't get good in promos, in my opinion, until about 97 when he had to go.
When he was a heel?
Yes. Then Brett was pretty good.
A lot easier to do a promo when you're a heel.
True that.
Just speak what's on your mind.
Oh yeah.
Brett has expressed over the years that he loved being a heel.
Yeah.
So
a lot of wrestlers do. They'd rather be heels. It seems like it'd be more fun.
Yeah.
I'm sure Roman Reigns right now wants to be a heel.
I think it'd be awesome to be a heel. If I was a wrestler, I would want to be a heel. So.
Well, that was your great bologna sandwiches promo.
That was our little backstory. So these two come out
sorry guys,
to a good crowd reaction for both. I thought the crowd was pretty.
So I can't stop laughing about them.
Can I talk about the match?
Yes, sorry.
You're gonna keep giggling about bologna sandwiches. You done? You sure?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm good.
So these two come out to good reaction from the crowd, both of them. I thought the crowd was pretty split for this match. I thought this was one of those classic babyface versus babyface.
They did turn for Brett's favor towards the end.
Yeah, as far as the match went, but we'll go over that here in a little bit.
Sorry, but we were talking about crowd reactions. I felt it was proper to give
Not
Brett
yet.
his just due for once. They'd be proud of me.
You're just getting a little far along. All right, let's.
What's an exciting time in
simmer down.
wrestling?
I know it was '92. Back when we were in our prime watching it.
Yeah.
So
8 years old for me.
I was 5.
You're like, yeah, fine.
Yeah, I liked it. I still remember it. But anyway, these guys start off with your classic stare down. I thought this was one of those great babyface versus babyface. The crowd doesn't know who to root for. Kind of like with Hogan and Warrior at WrestleMania 6. I hate to compare it to that as far as the crowd goes.
That's like the standard match you compare babyface matches to.
I mean,
for the most part.
It was one of those matches where the crowd I don't really think the crowd knew who was going to win. Because Piper hadn't had the belt long, and Brett's that returning champ. He wanted it back.
Yeah, maybe people thought Piper was going to go over more.
I looking back, I wish I could remember.
I don't.
Yeah,
I just remember watching it on V. I don't even remember watching that WrestleMania live.
If I didn't know who was going to win, it would have been tough for me to pick who was going to win.
Yeah,
to be honest with you. But anyway, they start out with a stare down, classic Bobby Heenan. Bobby Heenan, of course, makes the line: two ugly people staring at each other. That's nice. And it's just one of those, of those classic Bobby moments where you just can't help but laugh. It's just one of the funniest things that you'd ever hear from a wrestling announcer.
Best color guy of all time.
Oh,
up there with Lawler. Probably better than Lawler.
He can't stand either one, but he gets his stuff in, and it's hilarious.
But it was definitely Roddy Piper's best match ever.
This was definitely Roddy Piper's best match. Definitely the highest pace match for him. A little quick match.
Now, is this the appropriate time to talk about the crowd reaction now?
Well, first we're going to start out with...
Oh, it's not.
No. First we're going to start out with how the match started out. Back and forth, hard-hitting. Brett kind of getting the better of him on a little bit of the quick, fast-paced moves. Piper starting to get a little angry. Finally, Piper blows his stack a little bit, comes in, slaps Brett right in the face.
Boom. It was a good one.
That's when your crowd reaction kind of started to turn a little bit because the two baby faces...
Yeah.
Didn't seem like two baby faces anymore because Piper finally got to the point where...
At that point, it's just who's playing dirtier.
Yeah, and Piper definitely took that role, and that's where you can bring in your crowd reaction.
And that was the perfect era to do that kind of stuff with the crowd. You have them in the palm of your hand. Play with them like a puppet.
Piper wasn't really fighting dirty, but Piper was fighting more, I guess, more street style.
He was fighting more Piper-ish.
Yeah, he wasn't fighting like a...
I wasn't a big fan of this cookie-cutter babyface Piper. I wasn't. He was still Roddy Piper, still cutting hilarious promos, but that original Piper, WrestleMania 1 Piper, is the best.
Yeah.
He's that.
I don't think he really changed a whole lot, though. I think the crowd just appreciated it.
Well, he was doing the racial stuff against Mr. T. He was, like, pretty, But...
And who could forget the Bad News Brown?
Oh.
When he painted half of his body black.
I'd love to forget that.
I mean, he painted half of his body black. How is that not racial?
Well,
so
you got me.
Yeah. But... as far as that went, Piper started with a little bit of dirty tactics with the slap of the face.
What the hell? Use the bell. I remember Bobby saying that.
Yeah, he
grabbed the ring bell.
Well, he didn't really use it though.
They didn't use it.
But
that's where I was trying to throw it to you.
There was a point where he went to let Brett in the ring, and as Brett got in the ring, he kicked the ropes and got Brett right in the groin. That was another little dirty tactic.
Crowd didn't like that.
No, that I think is really when the crowd was like, "All right."
Was there a better sympathetic babyface than Bret Hart of all time?
Mr. Perfect said it best.
I don't see one.
Nobody could take a shit kicking like Bret Hart, and I think that's what made him so lovable.
Yeah.
He just kept getting his ass beat and kept on coming.
So sympathetic because at the time he was so much smaller than most of the guys, so it worked.
He really wasn't that small. When you look at
these two guys,
when you look at these two guys especially, they were...
Well, this was the era where the big guys started phasing out more.
These guys were almost like mirror images as far as size.
Yeah.
Piper and Brett were pretty much the same height, same weight. But they're both baby faces. Piper had been in there with the best in the business. This is when Brett really started showing that he could be in there with anybody as far as on a big stage. This match I thought was really good. A lot of back and forth. There was some juice in this match, which for all you people that don't know what that means...
Not hoovy juice.
No, this isn't hoovy juice. This is juice as far as blood.
Not Zeus juice, poopy juice. This is when you were allowed to actually bleed.
No, actually, that was the cool part about the back.
Oh, they weren't allowed to bleed.
This was also part of that, and there was 2 matches that got juice. This was a no juice period in the WWE.
Yeah, Ric Flair was covered, I remember.
Yes, this was one of those times, and like today, you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
And
But it happens.
the funny thing about this is Piper and Brett didn't get in trouble for it because it looked like an accident.
But Flair did.
Flair and Randy Savage
They actually
got
bladed
fined.
on
Yeah,
purpose?
they got fined for it. Well, both of them did. The juice in this match was on purpose too. They just made it look good.
Oh.
Piper went in for like an uppercut or something.
And Vince never caught on
And
that.
I guess Vince thought it was an accident. Piper accidentally caught him, but Brett in his book did mention that he juiced on this one. It was Piper and his idea before they thought the match needed a little juice, and they got it. I thought it played well for the match. I don't know if it necessarily.
Good for them.
I don't think it necessarily needed it,
Yeah.
but it definitely.
I think it needed it. If you're going to break out Bret Hart as a single star, you need to juice him. You need to make it. Then you need to make him overcome, and that's exactly what happened, Michael. The finish to this great match.
Piper gets him in the sleeper for the ending. Brett takes him to the turnbuckle, does a flip during the sleeper hold.
That's one thing I want to, and this will segue into one of my few complaints about Brett. He has overused this finish time or two. The same. He did it with Austin.
Uh-huh.
I'm pretty sure he did it with somebody else. I want to say Sid on a Raw for the belt or something.
He actually lost to Sid for the belt on Raw.
He did it with somebody. It was like a bigger guy. Maybe it was Diesel. I don't know.
I'm not sure, but he did use this a couple times. But he was the first one
This was the first time.
I ever saw this finish.
Yeah.
He used the sleeper to his advantage. He walks over to the turnbuckle, pushes off with his feet, puts Piper on his back, flips over on the top. 1, 2, 3. Crowd pops. New Intercontinental Champ.
Great match.
Bret the Hitman Hart, 2-time Intercontinental Champion now. After the match, you thought maybe Piper was going to turn.
The standard. What are they going to do? And
You
then
thought maybe Piper was going to turn here, but it really did end up in a clean embrace.
Did he grab the belt?
He
from
grabbed the belt,
timekeeper,
and you couldn't tell if he was going to hit him. And you thought Bobby Heenan was like, waffle him with it.
Yeah.
You know, and of course, he hands it to him.
Then
They hug.
Heenan's like, "This makes me sick."
Yep. But it was one of my favorite matches, just nostalgia value. Plus, it was Piper's best match. I think it's a classic match that doesn't get talked about enough. That's why I wanted to do it tonight. There's a lot of stuff that I could go into about
Great
this match.
pick. I really liked your pick of the week. I thought you did a great job on it.
I like this match. I don't think it gets enough credit for how good it
I'd
was.
say it's the best match of that Mania, but I would tie it with Savage and Flair. I think they're both
See,
as
my
good.
thought on it, I never thought that match was that great. I thought there was a lot of rest.
I think what made it great is the storytelling.
Yeah.
Not
But as far as the
in-ring.
match itself, I thought Savage and Flair had a lot better matches than that one.
What in WCW?
Anywhere. I thought this was one of their worst matches just because there was a whole lot of rest holds, and I thought it went on too long.
Well,
to be honest.
speaking of WCW, my turn for next week. For some reason, this popped in my head with you describing the match. I'm going to go with Bash at the Beach 96. One of the biggest pay-per-views in WCW history. The main event. The NWO. The birth of the NWO. The Outsiders. Hall and Nash. And the Mystery Man against WCW's finest. I believe it was Luger, the Macho Man, and Sting. Next week, that's my match of the week. Michael.
That's a good one.
It is. And that match, I think it gets talked about a lot, but it was a good match.
I don't think it gets talked about for the work. I think it gets talked about for
fucking perfect.
I think it gets talked about more for what happened at the end than the actual match itself.
But that's what I'm going with. I don't know why.
That's a good one. I'm excited for that one.
I'm excited to talk about
I
it.
haven't watched that match in forever.
Maybe we should watch that pay-per-view. That's a good WCW. You got
I don't
good
know if I
stuff
can
on
watch
there.
the whole pay-per-view.
Did we ever make it through a whole pay-per-view?
I'm just, if I like tonight, I think we should watch the 1992 Rumble, not the 1992 Rumble pay-per-view,
Just the match.
but the match itself.
Gotcha.
And yeah,
All right.
but that's not it, folks. Up next,
It's still the ball's in your court this week.
my WrestleMania of the week, guys. Drum roll, please. WrestleMania 19, Safeco Field, Seattle, Washington.
When we come back, but first, the Roddy Piper Bologna Sandwiches promo on the Slam Pigs podcast.
Rowdy Piper, his opponent, a former IC champion himself, #1 contender, Bret the Hitman Hart. Gentlemen, we have arrived.
We have arrived. I gotta say, first of all, man, I gotta tell you how much I loves your family. I gotta tell you how much I loves your mom. I know this guy since he's been knee-high to a grasshopper. I remember when they were changing your potty pants. I remember even when, of course, you weren't potty trained till he was 7, but everybody's got their problem. Remember tying bows in our shoes when we were kids? Of course, your shoes were always tied together. Doesn't matter to me, because I remember when Mrs. Hart used to come down, man. She used to make them sandwiches, man. Throw on that bologna. Of course, only one piece of bologna, but that don't matter. I was hungry. Then she'd come up and she'd go to her little... What is this?
Yourself.
This is nice, huh? Here I am having a little fun trying to make you at ease. Gonna have a nice con to keep them to yourself. Have a nice contest, and here you want to be a hero all of a sudden, huh? You want to be a hot shot all of a sudden. You want your belt all of a sudden. Is that the idea, huh?
Look, all I care about is one thing. I want to win back the Intercontinental Belt. You got it. I'm gonna take it.
You keep your hands to yourself. Let me help you out a little bit, buddy. We can settle argument. Oh, yeah, you damn betcha we can. That's why I do it here when I can have 1 million people watch me rip your head off. Would have had you. No, you wouldn't have.
Oh, thank you, gentlemen.
Bye-bye.
Bret Hart on his way to the ring.
Bye-bye.
This should be a classic, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't think so.
Rowdy Piper defending
Not
against
today.
the challenger. Let's get back to ringside.
And there it was, bologna sandwiches heard around the world. Michael, what a great promo.
I love that promo. I also love bologna sandwiches.
It's time for this week, though, our edition of the WrestleMania recap.
My WrestleMania of the week this week comes from Safeco Field, live in Seattle, Washington. WrestleMania 19.
What a weird place to have it.
Well, I thought it was cool just because it was a baseball stadium. How many baseball stadium WrestleManias have they ever had?
Yeah.
One.
This one.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yep. And think of all those baseball stadiums that you could have it in.
Camden Yards. Yeah.
It wouldn't be that many people though because all the space they take up with their
I hate to say
crap.
it. Yankee Stadium.
Yankee Stadium's not that big either. I mean, Camden Yards
Fenway?
Camden Yards seats almost 50,000, but if you put up the stage and everything like that, I think that's what takes away from them having it in a baseball stadium, just because of the capacity as far as seating.
I would have liked to see them do something back in the day in the old Montreal Expo Stadium, the Olympic Stadium. That was the biggest stadium. That was huge.
I think you're going to see a lot more of them doing it in football stadiums.
Yeah.
Hopefully, if they do one around these parts, it'll be in D.C. or in Washington. I don't think it's ever going to happen.
I don't think it'll ever come to Baltimore. WrestleMania in Baltimore.
Yeah, but think about it. The Ravens Stadium, M&T Bank Stadium, that seats 70,000, 80,000.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it could be done. It's just the time of the year is tough for this part of the country because it's still kind of cold out.
It's cold right now, and it's
But they did it in New York.
halfway through April.
If they did it in New York, they can do it here.
Yeah, but fans were miserable in that show. I remember they were freezing, pretty much. But that's what they get.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
But they're going out west again or they're coming back east to Orlando this year.
It's in Orlando. Home
Well, that's why they go to Florida so much.
of Travis Dominator.
Yeah, the legend lives. First mention ever of Dominator on this show. We're not going to get into that
I'm
at
not
all.
gonna get in deep to it, but just
Not right now.
Let it know it happened.
He started as Jello. Do you remember? He had a singlet and it said Jello on it.
Oh, it's awful. Oh,
Kind of like Earthquake singlet.
Yep,
But the WrestleMania 19, Safeco Field.
We start this out on Heat.
We're going to Heat on MTV at the time, right?
With tag team title match on Heat.
Wasn't it on MTV at the time?
I'm not sure.
They had WWF New York.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah. You had Lance Storm and Chad Morley, or the
Chief
champions.
Morley.
And they're
otherwise known as Val Venus.
Val Venus.
Remember, this is when he was like boring, working for Bischoff.
Yep.
2003 era, Bad Blood, your favorite pay-per-view of all time. There's
Storm,
so much about that pay-per-view, it's pathetic.
Lance Storm and Val Venus with the Dudley Boys defeated Kane and Rob Van Dam for the belts. What else can you say about this match? Not a whole lot, because that's what happened, and that's all I really recall from it.
I'll say one thing. Rob Van Dam and Kane actually weren't that bad as a tag team.
No, I thought they were good, high-flying guy and power guy.
Moving on, because
So,
that's nothing else.
Our first match on the actual WrestleMania card is for the Cruiserweight title. Matt Hardy, V1.
With Shannon Moore.
With Shannon
His
Moore.
little MFer.
Yep, he was his MFer. I love this gimmick for Matt Hardy. I thought this was...
I like on the entrance with the little computer
Yeah.
stuff, the fax.
I thought that this was Matt Hardy's best gimmick by far.
Matt hates mustard.
I love Matt Hardy as a heel here. With his little MFer. Motherfucker, whatever you want to call him.
But his WrestleMania debut is Rey Mysterio.
Rey Mysterio coming out in his Captain America? Is that what it was?
This is when he was the Flash, I think.
Okay, this was Flash? Okay.
I think Captain America was against Cody. Remember that match?
Could have been.
Cody went over clean.
Could have been. But anyway, this match was a really good match.
I know that.
For the Cruiserweight belt, I thought they both looked really good in this match. Matt Hardy actually ended up winning kind of clean here. Little roll up. Grabbed a little bit
Did he
of
grab the ropes?
Yeah, he grabbed
Well,
a
then
little
it's
bit.
not clean.
It was kind of clean.
Let's get the shit right.
Well, I'm sorry.
We're live, baby, live, and you're going to say that a roll up with tights is clean?
It's clean to me.
Don't ever wash my clothes.
Hey, 1, 2, 3 is 1, 2, 3.
Kid.
Yep. I'm just saying, that's clean to me. Nobody interfered, so...
It was a good opener for this. It got the crowd invested. It got them fired
A
up.
lot of high spots. Next match on the card,
Ooh.
Undertaker. Second match on the
I
card.
remember Limp Bizkit playing The Undertaker out for his American Badass run. Ooh.
Yeah, that was awesome, wasn't it?
You picked the show.
I liked it. I liked it.
You liked it?
Hey, it's no worse than Kid Rock.
Ugh. God.
I mean,
I hate both equally, so...
I mean, you had Snoop Dogg at this last WrestleMania.
Well, that's Snoop Dogg. It's...
Oh, he's still okay, even though he hasn't put out an album and... Yeah.
I actually liked his stuff.
Yeah, when?
I don't know. I still like his stuff, I guess.
What stuff?
I
He
don't-
doesn't put out stuff.
I'm not hip to the new music.
Sorry, he doesn't put out new albums.
Who he said he doesn't need to. He's Snoop. Fred
Yeah.
Durst is irrelevant. Just like...
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry to strike a nerve. You big Fred Durst
I'm
supporter.
just, what's so great about Snoop Dogg? Well, we couldn't have Fred Durst when they were still a band.
Well, let's just move on. Because we're not going to see eye to eye.
Matt Hardy wins. 1, 2, 3.
We established that.
Yep.
We've already moved on to Fred
V1.
Durst.
V1.
You're back in the past.
I'm just
Michael
saying.
J. Fox.
Just saying. I wanted to reiterate that.
Hey, did you hear, little off topic, Michael J. Fox is dying. He's losing his battle to Parkinson's. That makes me really sad. Life with Mikey, Back to the Future.
Your favorite Michael J. Fox movie?
Life with Mikey?
Is that your favorite?
No way. Back to the Future.
Oh, that's too easy.
Jeff Jarrett.
Mine's Teen Wolf.
That was a good one. The second one was awful.
Well, of course.
Did the second one have Styles?
I don't know. I don't think I ever watched the second one.
Give me a keg of beer.
But you had the Undertaker in a handicap match going up
From
against.
Kimo up to the Undertaker.
Yep.
Only on the Slam Pigs podcast.
Oink oink. You had him going up against the Big Show and A-Train, a.k.a. all of his gimmicks that he's had in WWE. I'm not going to go over all of them. Oof. That'd be a tough trivia question. But Undertaker wins. He beats the Big Show and A-Train over
Supposed to have
800 pounds of men, and he beat them in 9 minutes and 42 seconds.
Yeah. That's,
Didn't even take him 10 minutes.
Well,
So the Undertaker is just that awesome.
he was supposed to have a partner, Nathan Jones.
Yeah.
If anyone out there remembers Nathan Jones, I barely do.
You probably shouldn't.
Pretty much. You probably shouldn't. Let's just move on.
Yeah.
Not the Undertaker's
This
finest
wasn't the
moment
best
at
part of the
Mania.
card here, guys.
Terrible match.
Card starts to heat up here with this match. The triple threat match for the women's championship. You had Trish Stratus, Trish Stratus, one of the challengers, taking on the champion Victoria from
Your favorite all-time diva,
Victoria was still part of
Stevie Richards.
yeah, what was that called? The Right to Censor. Yes.
No, that was Ivory. Victoria wasn't a part of Right to Censor.
Sorry, I thought Stevie Richards. I thought Right to Censor.
You thought wrong.
Okay.
You fucked up.
Well, fuck me.
Fucked up
But-
your whole WrestleMania.
Whatever. She had Stevie Richards in her corner, and the third competitor in this match, unforgettable Jazz.
Jazz. Oh, I mean Jazz. Sorry.
Jazz.
Ugh.
Jazz.
Good worker. Just
Yep.
not much for the eyes, but
Yeah,
it doesn't always have to be.
She wasn't really easy on the eyes.
Sometimes you need a Misha Tate, you know?
Yeah, I think Misha Tate's hot when she's in street clothes, not when she has her hair braided and stuff.
Sometimes you need a Holly Holm.
Just
Is that
saying,
better?
I think
I
they're
don't
both
know.
hot.
Sometimes you need a Bull Nakano. Is that Awesome Kong?
That's better.
Bertha
Yep, now we're getting
fucking
okay.
Faye.
That's enough.
Sorry,
Jesus.
guys. I lost control a little bit. I forgot we're live, baby, live.
But Trish Stratus gets the win here. Your new WWE Women's
Good
Champion.
little women's match. One of the
Yeah.
best women's matches of
I
wrestling.
liked it. Yep, it wasn't very long. It was only a little over 7
Didn't
minutes.
Trish have a bunch of like purple confetti coming down the ring?
Yeah, I think so. But she gets over. She wins the title in a little over 7 minutes. Now we go to another title match.
I see what's next.
The WWE Tag Team Championship match. This is back when they still had the two separate tag team titles.
Yeah, the brand split.
The first match that we talked about with Lance Storm and Val Venus.
That was the Raw tag
They
team
were the
belts.
World Tag Team Champions.
These are the WWE tag champs,
Which were
otherwise
the
known as the
SmackDown.
Blue Belt.
Yes, the SmackDown champs.
Red Bliss.
So we had
It's fucking Halo.
our champs, the defending champs, Team Angle, or the world's greatest tag team, however you want to call them.
Chad Gable and Jason. Wait, I mean,
No. Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas.
Their fathers. Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
Shelton Benjamin and Charlie
Hey,
Haas.
I love Team Angle. Can't say anything bad.
World's greatest tag team.
There you go.
Yeah. They took on Los Guerreros, Eddie and Chavo.
Love Los Guerreros. This team, though, I don't know if I love
And the
so
last
much.
tag team is kind of thrown together. Chris Benoit and Rhino.
Makeshift.
Sorry, we're not the WWE. We will mention Chris Benoit's name.
Yeah, whatever.
Sorry, what happened, but he's still a part of wrestling history. I'm not going to cut him out like Vince McMahon did. Anyway, this is a pretty good match from what I recall. Each team kind of did some different things. There was a couple good spots with Team Angle trying to do some clean wrestling and Los Guerreros really working the lie, cheat, steal gimmick.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was pretty cool. And Chris Benoit and Rhino made an appearance.
Got their payday.
Yeah, they were in this match for no apparent reason. Wasn't a whole lot of build-up for this.
Just to get him on the card.
Yeah.
Rhino was kind of over at this time.
Yeah, he was still...
Benoit was definitely over.
Yeah, Benoit was definitely still over. I thought...
Benoit was always over.
They could have done a lot more with that. But, Team Angle, a.k.a. the world's greatest tag team...
Not a great match for the talent that was in it.
No, but they didn't give him a whole lot of time either.
Maybe the talent just didn't really care.
This match was over
Pay me.
in a little less than 10 minutes.
All right.
Team Angle retains
Works
the
for
belts.
me.
They win. Team Angle still your WWE Tag Team Champions. This is where the card really starts to heat up for me. The second half of this card could be put against any WrestleMania card, I think, in history.
Yeah.
It's just as far as match quality and talent.
One of my all-time favorite WrestleMania matches right here.
Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid, making his return to WrestleMania, his first WrestleMania match in 5 years. Yep, 5 years.
98 to
comes
2003.
Comes back to take on one of his proteges, Y2J.
Well, he
Chris
wasn't
Jericho.
really his protege. He didn't like train him.
Well,
he idolized
yes,
Shawn Michaels.
I'm sorry.
Well, we got to get shit right. We don't roll eyes.
Well,
we don't say,
I know, but I always thought...
Gotta look professional.
You look
here.
at Chris Jericho and the way he works in the ring, you think Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
And
You would think that he trained him.
this was like the new version
But
of
the
Michaels.
funny thing
Yeah.
is that he trained in the dungeon.
Yeah.
The whole polar opposite of Shawn Michaels. Sweet irony.
Chris Jericho and Owen Hart were kind of in the same...
Yeah. Well, Jericho and Lance Storm, the Thrill Seekers, Smoky Mountain, shout out.
Yay, Smoky Mountain.
Yeah.
But Shawn Michaels and Chris Jericho, this was definitely the match of the night. It actually had the most time of the night for a match that wasn't for a belt. It was just for pride and who's better.
It should have, out of all
And
of
this match, from start to finish...
More time than the main event?
Yes,
Wow.
this is the longest match of the night.
How long did they go in this?
They went almost 23 minutes in this match.
I could have seen these guys work for an hour.
Right.
You know?
Start to finish, I thought this match was almost flawless.
Yeah. Oh, it was.
I mean, I
Didn't
love...
Shawn Michaels' guns fuck up on the way down to the ring?
Yeah, I remember that too. Yeah, he had those
confetti.
confetti guns.
The Johnny B. Bad
Yeah, and
blasters.
half of them didn't work.
Yeah.
I remember like
Other than that,
2 or 3 of them didn't work, but the match definitely worked.
There's your botch for the evening for those guys.
The match definitely worked for me. Shawn Michaels gets the clean win. The best part about this match was after it was over.
Yep.
You had that point where you thought, oh God, we're going to get another one of those shake hands segments. And you got it. Until Jericho was Jericho and kicked him right in the balls.
Kicked him in the Genettis.
Kicked Shawn Michaels right in his holy nuts. This, of course, was Shawn Michaels returning, and he loves Jesus, and hey, more power to you, Shawn.
And Shawn kind of just fell into Michaels' arms.
He slid down. It was
what
awesome.
did Jericho say on that E2 Jericho? Remember that?
Why, Jericho?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was I thought that was a great finish to the match after it was over. Definitely the best match on the card, I think.
Oh, yeah.
It had to steal the show with those two guys. You got the guy that steals the show in every WrestleMania against another guy that can steal a show in any card.
Talk about overlooked matches.
That's another match that could be done on Match of the Week.
This is up. Oh, definitely.
I mean,
well, we kind of just
you got Lance Storm behind you, just ready for that fire. And
well, now you're just confusing him.
I'm talking
about my cat.
Talking about the cat again.
I turned around and thought Lance Storm was here because
Lance Storm wants to be a part of the show. Okay, it's been going on for weeks.
It's Lance Storm. I do follow him on Twitter.
Oh well, shout out to the real.
He's very
Lance Storm.
interactive with live Raws.
Well, you should be happy that there's a cat named after you in this podcast, and this cat wants to be part of the show.
I have a cat named Marty, Sarge,
yep,
and Lance. The other cats don't have wrestling.
Not that they're wrestling involved or anything.
We just kind of take it that way.
Yep.
Moving on.
But the best match of the card right there, it wasn't for a belt.
It's in the books.
But definitely one of my all-time favorite WrestleMania
Didn't
matches.
have to be for a belt, these guys at the point in their career.
All right, we get to our first, I should say, high-profile singles title match of the evening. Ooh. You got the World Heavyweight Championship match.
The Reign of Terror, Triple H.
Triple H.
Right in the midst of the Reign of Terror.
With Ric Flair in his corner.
Woo.
Going against the challenger, Booker T. And this was in the midst of Booker T's big babyface push.
Good old egg juice.
Booker T was supposed to win this match.
This match is like, when you make scrambled eggs and they look awesome and they look beautiful on the outside. You put your fork in and you take that bite.
Little runny.
And it's fucking juice.
Yep.
That's exactly what this match was. The build-up was great. The payoff was bullshit. Booker T, in my opinion, was squashed in this match. The whole build-up gets a lot of controversy. Wrestling with Regret, shout out. He talked about this before. The racial build-up for this match was a little overboard.
Mr. Zane.
I see what they were trying to do. Just sometimes you don't got to go there,
Yeah.
It didn't need it.
I don't think it needed it.
I like Booker T.
He was actually supposed to win this match.
He was over really good at this time.
I thought he was too. Triple H ended up retaining for some reason.
Because he had the book and he was fucking the boss's daughter.
Well, this was back in 2002, so
this was 2003.
I think this was newlywed. I think they hadn't been married that long. But
this was still Triple H's reign of terror, as everyone says. But that 03 to 06 period.
Triple H was not supposed to win this match. He got in Vince's ear. Ended up getting the win. Yippity doo dah. Triple H wins for.
Crowd fell flat. But look what it followed too.
Dude, I mean, even if Booker T would have won, I don't know if the pop would have been that great.
Yeah.
But
at this time, you just had star after star after star.
It was a deep talent pool.
Look at this fucking card from here on out. You know what I mean? And this was good play. I hope that they would look. I mean, I don't agree with what they closed the show with on this. It should have been closing it with another match that we're gonna get to.
I don't agree with how this WrestleMania was booked as far as match order.
Yeah.
I think the second half of this card was just bam, bam, bam,
Stacked.
bam, bam.
It was lopsided card.
Absolutely. I think this could have been spread out a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
I think at least Shawn and Jericho probably could have been a little earlier on the card.
You go as far as to open it with that.
I think
that crowd invested.
I think you open it as far as the way it ended up. I think you do it almost like the way they do it now, or when they used to do it
with
when
the
they
world title match.
I think you have Triple H and Booker T open it up.
Yeah.
But,
so you don't put Lance Storm on the card. You keep him on heat.
No. Lance Storm doesn't make it for me.
All right.
But
it's so funny how over RVD was at this time, and he was regulated to heat.
RVD was always over though.
But just
it was just he couldn't
somebody
get
in the
out of
back
his
just
own way.
didn't like him.
For that, and he liked to smoke his weed.
Well,
So, I mean, I'm sorry.
we're no saints here on the podcast.
Well, I'm just saying, if you're getting paid $1 million a year,
you got to be a little smarter.
Do you think you could put the weed down?
You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't complain about not being pushed to the top.
I'm gonna go ahead and start with my little bitch rant of the week. I'm going to
All right.
talk about professional athletes and the fact that they cannot lay off the weed.
Is that what I'm going to call the segment, the bitch rant?
This is my little rant / bitch of the week.
All right.
Professional athletes and the fact that they're making this much money,
Yeah.
and they still put their careers in jeopardy,
And their
by
families supporting them.
by smoking some pot.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Plus, they're also looked at as role models.
Exactly. My thing is, even if I was a giant pothead, if somebody paid me $1 million a year to do my job, and the only requirement is not take steroids, don't do drugs, don't beat women,
asked.
don't get in trouble with the law.
Pretty much follow the law. This is the standard.
And you have, especially in the NFL now, you have these guys popping for marijuana over and over again.
Yeah.
So you really want to risk your career for some pot?
Well,
I'd rather be a millionaire. Hey, once your career is over, you can smoke as much pot as you want.
speaking from a lot of current experience, I prefer the herbal supplement over the alcohol consumption.
But if you were getting paid millions of dollars,
I would definitely quit because
I think you could lay off the pot.
Millions of dollars.
I bet you could lay that.
Dude, quit for a couple years,
I
set
could
shit
lay
up,
off
and
the
then
beer.
smoke whatever the fuck you want.
I mean,
after that.
luckily, beer is more acceptable. It's not against the law. Like, if you're done your game, go home and drink your beer and go to bed. But as far as the pot goes, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. John Jones, look at that guy.
That's coke. That's even worse.
That's
Cocaine.
even worse.
Like, you're. I mean, look at a lot of these NFL players that pop for that shit, and they can't keep from beating up their girlfriends
Or their kids, Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, like. Jesus
Well,
Christ.
that's a whole other podcast in itself.
But I'm sorry,
you make a great point. I agree.
I had to get that out.
Hey, that's why we do
I
this.
watch Sports Center every day, guys.
The Coach. A lot of WWE covers on Sports Center. That new deal. It's surreal to watch that. You know what I mean? Because we don't remember when AWA was on every day on ESPN.
They cover it like they do boxing now. It's funny.
Yeah.
But
and you know some of those producers at ESPN are like, this is fucking fake bullshit. But somehow they pulled it off, so more power to them.
It's on there, and it's becoming, I think, a little more socially acceptable because it's PG, and you can put it on places like Sports Center because you're not seeing people all bloodied up, and you know, even though they put UFC on there, so
do they show the blood on the highlights? Do they?
They show the blood. They have it live on Fox.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's somebody gets bloodied up, they get bloodied up, but
they don't have a ref come in and.
Regardless, you're a professional athlete. You're making more money in a year than most people make in a lifetime. Do us a favor. Lay off the fucking pot. Is it that fucking difficult? Honestly. And you want to bitch because they're taking too much from your taxes? You should be more worried about your priorities. Get off the shit and do your job. That's all I'm saying. But
Hulk Hogan.
Next match.
Vince McMahon.
Next match. Moving right along.
One of the biggest blockbuster announced matches of all time.
And it was a street fight.
No one expected this to deliver ring-wise.
This was a possible retirement match for Hogan as well, if you remember.
Yeah. I also remember a Botchamania horrible promo. If I'm just the right gay guy or something, Hogan. Remember that?
Yeah.
On SmackDown?
Yeah.
Hogan just kept fucking up after time after time after. Good Lord. I don't think that even made air.
He didn't have his roids.
But this led to Mr. America, all kinds. Zach Gowen.
If Hogan would have lost this match, he would have been forced to retire against Mr. McMahon. Yeah. Mr. McMahon made him put his career on the line to get a shot, for Hogan to get a shot at McMahon. This was actually a pretty good match.
Good storytelling.
Because it was a street fight.
Yeah.
I think if you're going to put Mr. McMahon and Hogan in a match, it has to be something like that.
I always remember that look Vince gives in this match when he's coming over the apron all bloody.
Yeah.
He looks so demonic, as they love to say.
But
Had a cameo in here too by somebody that we already talked about tonight.
Go ahead.
Did I jump the gun?
No, go ahead.
Roddy Piper.
Piper makes his appearance.
Looking a little bit bigger, but he's older. I think he just was in a car wreck too before this, if I remember correctly. So
my whole thought process on this match is I think it was actually booked really well. This is back when WWE could still book things well as far as storyline, backstory goes.
yeah,
Thank
it's
God
getting a little better.
Thank God it was a street fight. Could you imagine if this was an Iron Man match?
Jesus.
I mean, obviously you're not going to
10-minute Iron Man match.
That's all you could take of this. You don't exactly.
That's all they could take.
You don't exactly have two technical masterpieces in the ring together.
10-minute Iron Man match. They each have like 5
Shout out
falls.
to Chris Masters, but
Was he the Iron Man?
he was the masterpiece.
Oh, this is random.
That's why I said he didn't exactly have two technical masterpieces in this match.
God, I'm on board.
But you had two guys in there that did a lot of cool stuff, a lot of blood, a lot of weapons. I liked it. It was actually a really long match.
Crowd was into it.
One of the longer matches on the card, almost 21 minutes worth of Hogan and McMahon beating the ever-loving shit out. Mostly Hogan beating the shit out of McMahon.
As you would expect.
McMahon gets his little stuff in.
Just like Brett and Vince at Mania, which is even worse of a match.
If Vince wasn't the owner, he could have been a hell of a babyface.
That was Vince's worst match.
Because Vince could take a shit kicking like nobody else as well. Vince would take it and keep on coming.
Vince was a madman.
For his age, it's ridiculous what he was doing.
The match was what it was. Hogan goes over clean.
Hogan wins it clean. Now, we go to our co-main event of the evening.
When I said earlier, this should have been the main event.
It should have been.
Considering whose last match it was. Michael, what match are we talking about?
We're talking about episode 3 of...
Star Wars?
No.
Oh.
We're talking about The Rock versus Stone Cold.
Gotcha.
Their third meeting at WrestleMania. And it's funny that they did it like every 2 years. They did it at 15, 17, and 19.
Yeah, it's weird.
Stone Cold had gone over at 15 and 17. I disagreed with 17. I thought The Rock should have went over.
Yeah.
Even though it was in Texas. Or I just disagreed with the whole way that match was booked in 17.
That's a whole other hour-long discussion.
That match, I think, was the most hyped of their three. As far
with
as
the
them,
least...
As far as them being in their prime.
With the worst finish.
Yeah, as far as them being in their primes, that should have been their best match at 17. Yeah. It wasn't.
Yeah.
Just because of the shitty booking. I think they kind of got stuck in between a rock and a hard place in 17. Like, what do we do?
Shot booking.
They're both so over. The Rock needs to have it, but
let's turn one heel, damn it.
But we're in Texas.
Yeah.
And so they turned Stone Cold heel. But,
where we just were this year, Texas.
Yep. But I mean...
This was Stone Cold Steve Austin's last
match in the WWE, and he's playing the babyface against the heel Rock, which I always liked the Rock as a heel.
I loved this version of the Rock, the Hollywood Rock.
Yeah, I liked it.
Theme music was awesome.
Yeah.
The concerts.
I thought it was a little too slow to begin with. I didn't like that.
Loved it.
I didn't like it.
I think it went
struck
great
me as narcissist Lex Luger music.
What?
Think about it when you go back. Just like the narcissist.
Well,
listen to both entrance themes.
Well, The Rock didn't have. Look at it! Look at it! Look at it! Oh my God!
I just want you to go back and listen to the similarities between the first part of The Rock's music. And,
no, I
and
don't need to. I got you. Once again, I'm on board.
But
guys, and by the way, go back and check out the Lex Luger's debut at the Rumble '93 if you want an inside joke reference.
That's awesome. Look at it! Look at it!
One day that's going to be a soundbite on the show.
Oh God, please don't!
It's going to happen.
You had The Rock and Stone Cold in their final match together. Stone Cold's final match ever. Still hasn't wrestled since then.
It wasn't that great of a match. A lot of rock bottoms and stunners. Rock wore the vest, Stone Cold's vest, for a while, if I remember.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
I thought they told a pretty good story. The pre-match build-up was really good. As far as the wrestling went, I didn't think it needed to be a great wrestling match.
Well, they never had a great
because
wrestling match.
You have those personalities. I don't even think the wrestling really mattered that much.
Yeah.
Once again, I'm going to make another Hogan Warrior reference. That match was not great. God. But it's remembered as one of the great matches because...
Storytelling.
Because of the storytelling and the personalities involved.
Exactly.
This was...
something lacking today, which is why the guys are hurt more and more, in my opinion, because they rely on more ring work than storytelling.
Even though this wasn't the greatest match, I thought this was probably my favorite Rock versus Stone Cold match.
Because it was his last match?
That, and I just... the one at 15, The Rock was still kind of like
That's probably
young.
my favorite one out of all.
He was still kind of young, and you didn't really give him a chance. And Stone Cold was so over for that. You knew Stone Cold was going over.
But the match was what it was. It was Austin's final hurrah. He went out like a hero, even though The Rock won clean.
Yeah, The Rock and Hogan. I'm sorry, I always say Hogan when I think of Stone Cold because it's just
He's
you
the
think of
90s
that,
Hogan.
You think of that, but his last match, he
Yeah.
loses
He loses.
clean.
But that's the kind of guy Austin is, you know?
In a heel versus babyface match, he loses to the heel clean.
Rock had to go on, which he didn't actually go on for that long because he went for the movies for like 8 years.
I think that was the biggest surprise for me in this match is that The Rock won clean.
Yeah. I didn't expect him to win.
I think
This is right after Austin came back with Bischoff.
Because that wasn't seen that much. You know what I mean? You don't see a heel beat a babyface clean.
Yeah, especially at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I just didn't see that, but I think that added to the greatness of this match. The fact that the Rock had to give him all those rock bottoms to finish him. He had to give him 3 of them to finish him.
Yeah, well, he took a couple stunners too.
He did, and he kept kicking out.
Those guys are always peanut butter and jelly, just made for each other. That happens so rare.
The fact that you had both of the same era, was just it made us so spoiled.
When's the last time we had a rivalry like that? Would you say Punk and Cena?
No, I don't think Cena was that over. At least at that point.
I don't know. Could it possibly be Zayn and Owens? Guys that
Maybe
are just
in the
made-
future.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like guys are just
Maybe
made
in the
for-
future, or Daniel Bryan. Imagine if you had a Daniel Bryan.
Daniel Bryan didn't really have that kind of opponent though.
Yeah, I'm saying, you imagine if you had Daniel Bryan versus CM Punk at WrestleMania when they were both hot as baby faces.
That could squandered opportunities.
That would have been a great match.
Your main event. The crowd was completely dead by this point.
Main event,
Spent.
and it's a shame because this match was actually a really good match.
But this is a case of what we've talked about on many episodes here on Slam Pigs Podcast. You could have the best match in the world. If the crowd's dead, it's going to suck.
You had a lot of build up to this match just because there had been a lot of schmoz finishes where Angle held onto the belt.
Draws?
No.
Draws finishes.
Schmoz.
Oh, draws finishes aren't good.
Like DQs, countouts.
A draws finish, you're going to the hospital.
You had your WWE champion,
Sorry.
the Olympic gold medalist, Kurt Angle, defending his title once again against
The man. The beast.
Brock Lesnar. This was
Babyface Brock.
This was
Undies Brock.
young Brock. This was
When he truly was a fucking beast.
little stipulation for this match because of what I said in the backstory.
I don't remember any of the backstory.
They had wrestled before on numerous occasions and even on some pay-per-views, and Angle had retained the belt by hook or by crook just by either getting counted out or being disqualified.
Didn't they have an Iron Man match on SmackDown?
Yes, and actually that was later on.
Oh,
that was when
sorry.
Lesnar was actually the heel and Angle was the babyface later on.
During this brand split era, I always watched Raw.
Yeah.
I never, even though SmackDown was the better show, something about it, I just always watched Raw.
Raw was more entertaining.
It was more convenient
SmackDown
to
was
watch.
more of the wrestling show.
Plus, Raw was always live, and I hate watching taped wrestling.
Yeah. Especially when you know what's going to happen
And the
these
crowd
days with
edits,
the internet.
the crowd I hate that shit.
It just the little backstory in this, the little stipulation that was put in this match, if Angle was either counted out or disqualified,
He'd have to play a game of Connect Four with Norman Smiley.
no,
and
he would
lose.
lose. He would lose his belt. He wouldn't have to play Connect Four with Norman Smiley. I wouldn't put that on anybody. That's just not fair to anybody because we know how Smiley is with that Connect Four.
He's cutthroat.
Yep.
I like my stipulation better.
I mean,
it's for a belt. So
it's
I guess I got to keep the
WrestleMania.
pants up somehow.
Yeah, it's
so
WrestleMania, so you got to make it a little more
I guess the
accessible.
Smiley stipulations for like a SummerSlam then.
No, I'd probably put it more at like
Unforgiven.
Extreme Rules or something like that.
Extreme Smiley.
Yeah.
I ain't had a Smiley pie in years.
Ugh. But anyway,
That's so gross.
this was your main event.
Think about it.
This was your main event. This was a great match. It wasn't appreciated just because of what it followed, like you said.
Yeah.
As far as
Crowd was ready to go home.
As far as actual work, this match was great. I give it a 4 out of 5 stars.
Brock almost killed himself.
Brock almost killed himself in this match.
That's all I remember.
That's
from the
how
match.
much they were trying to get a reaction out of this crowd, because this crowd was spent. Because they,
Brock,
like I said, the way they booked this WrestleMania, they just put great match after great match on the second half of the card.
It happens sometimes.
And
it shows.
it just...
Did Brock get a concussion? Or
No.
stinger or something?
No, actually, he was okay. He just... The only thing he really did was give himself like a brush burn on his head because that's...
Didn't Angle get hurt in this match?
Angle came into this match with a neck injury.
Well, that's a given. That's always
this match didn't help it at all with all the F5s.
Kurt Angle looks like a tick. He reminds me of a tick. I don't know.
Sound like our mother.
Why?
That's exactly what she would say about him when she would watch it. He looks like a tick.
He just the
she
way
used to say that about Chris Benoit too.
He looks like a tick.
He looks like a tick. Yeah. But
really, that's weird.
Yep.
Because he seriously looks like a tick to me. Shout out to our mother for thinking guys look like ticks.
She's never gonna listen to this, but shout out to you.
If she did, she'd make fun of us.
Yep,
Trust me.
pretty much. But
we love you guys.
We love you guys,
and that about does it for 19.
That was WrestleMania 19.
Well, who went over and what?
Brock Lesnar wins clean.
Clean. He won that Rumble
with the F5.
He was your Rumble hero going into this.
He wins it clean.
That Rumble sucked.
They actually embraced after the match. Hugged.
Hug it out.
Yeah, I don't know why, because Angle was a heel at that point. I don't know why he needed to do that.
It's dumb.
I thought that was stupid. But this WrestleMania as a whole, I give it 7 out of 10.
Okay.
The first half of the card definitely lackluster. The second half, awesome.
Am I going to get a chance to grade it, or?
Well, what would you give it?
I give it a 5.
Really?
For half and half. Half of the card's crap.
Okay.
Half is.
But I thought the second half made up for the first half.
Well, you did a good job, man. That was your pick.
You got anything on top of your head for next week? It's your turn next week. Your match of the week and your WrestleMania.
I think it's time to do a bad WrestleMania.
You gonna do it? Oh, please don't.
I'm not going 1-1.
Okay.
I'm not going there. WrestleMania 7. Since this is episode 7.
Okay.
Next week. If we do the show next week. And maybe Frost will be here to join us in his thoughts. Maybe he'll still be live, baby live.
Not from the Coliseum at WrestleMania 7.
Where it was scheduled to be.
Yep.
But we'll get into that next week. WrestleMania 7 on the Slam Pigs podcast. Michael, anything else you want to cover before we send it home?
What's your match of the week next week?
I already said that, the NWO. Bro.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, you did say that.
Well, judging by your memory right now, and Natty Bo in the house, it's time to wrap it up here soon.
That was a while ago.
Thank you so much again for joining me, Michael.
Yep, I have fun every time. Thanks for having me. Thank all of you guys that are listening to this podcast. We really appreciate it.
Maybe some more questions would be appreciated, though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go there because, then I just won't get any votes ever for the poll. But
who cares?
We're going to redo that poll here one of these days. And y'all are going to like me whether you like it or not. Might it suck? Somebody's going to like me, goddammit. And
I like you. Well, that's nice of you.
But anyway, guys, thanks for having us. We hope you guys come back and listen again next week for our Slam Pigs podcast number 8.
8, baby, 8.
Cal Ripken. Iron Man, number 8.
There it is.
Troy Aikman, number 8.
Was Bob Sparkplug Holly's car number 8?
I don't think so. I wouldn't know that anyway.
Some homework before the next show.
It definitely had 2 numbers on it, though.
And did he ever win a race?
No.
Was that legit?
I don't think so.
No other way I'd rather end the show than Bob Sparkplug Holly.
God,
Thurman Sparky Plug.
Jesus. You're trying to have Norman Smiley connect 4s and Bob Holly at the end of the show. Man, that's really going to fucking jack up the ratings.
That'll put a lot of butts in the seats. Tony Schiavone.
That's a good way to get people to listen. Jesus, Mary and Joseph.
Why not?
You see what I'm working with, people? That's why I want to do the poll, and y'all like them.
They like that shit. They love listening about Fit Finley versus William Regal at Hardcore Heaven or whatever. They love that random shit.
Oh,
but Michael, thanks
that
again
actually
for joining.
happen?
We'll find out somehow. That'll be your match of the week.
But anyway, thanks for having me,
I remember
Travis.
those two wrestling each other surrounded by cars in WCW, and he put his boot through a car window. It was crazy. Fit Finley had a mullet, a brown mullet, and a mustache. It didn't even look like him. But he still had the Finley singlet.
If I didn't have beer in my hand, I might throw up.
I thought you were going to say throw it in my face.
Well, that too.
Be sure to check out the Hibiki TMD on Twitter, Hibiki TMD on YouTube and Facebook for all video game reviews, video game music, retrospectives, and this measly little podcast, the Slam Pigs Podcast. Thank you once again, Michael, for joining me. We'll see you guys next week on the Slam Pigs Podcast.
Oink, oink.
Have a great week, guys. See you later.
Keep coming! Down everybody's front with raging elephants! Should I lay on the lawn and let him run over me with lawnmowers?
Hey, what is going on here?